Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you're all doing well. So for this video I'll be starting a new series called Talking About Inspirations. Now if you haven't guessed from the title of this series, I'll be talking about people who have inspired me throughout my life and who have helped me to become the person I am today. Just to let you know that most of the people that I'll be mentioning within this series are people that I don't know personally, but I've got to know them through the films that have been made about them, the books that have been written about them, and the preachers that they have done. So on that note, I'll be starting with a girl called Rachel Joy Scott. Now if you don't know who she was a student at Columbine High, but in 1999 on the 20th of April she was the first victim of the Columbine High School massacre, in which 11 students and a teacher were also murdered. But despite what happened, Rachel's story still lived on even if she was gone from the age of 17. She left her mark on this world and she made sure of that. I was reading the other day that at the age of 13, Rachel wrote a message on her chest of drawers, or dresser as some people say, and she wrote, "These hands belong to Rachel Joy Scott and will someday touch millions of people's hearts." And you know what? They did. From the age of 13, she knew that she could change more than one life, yet some of us don't always realise or take action in this until we reach our adult years, or maybe slightly before that. But like I said, her story continued, her story spread out through the years, and her family made sure of that. Her brother Craig, who miraculously survived the shooting as he went to the same school as Rachel, he was close to Rachel that he began to speak about her story within schools, so that he could inspire the younger generation. But what I took from this was that although Rachel died, it may have seemed as though her journey had ended, but she still left a trail for others, enabling other people to begin their own journey. Because when she came to know God and she went back to school, because she came to know God over the holidays because she went to her aunt and uncle's church. And I remember reading in this, which is a book full of some of her journal writings, because she did a lot of journaling. I remember that she wrote that when she went to her aunt and uncle's house at church, it was very different to her church, because it's a kind of church that during worship people were raising their hands and they were really getting into it. And she was saying how she felt like she was being led to the front, and that's where she began to pray to God, and that's where she fully committed herself to God. And then she took that commitment into school, and then that's where she wasn't ashamed to share her faith with her friends, even if her friends didn't agree with it. She just carried on talking about her faith. So that's then when she had that impact on people within her school. Even though she may have been gone, she still had that impact on people. So on that note, Rachel's journey to God inspired me so much, because no matter what, she never gave up. She never gave up on hope or on people or on her faith. She stood up for hope, she stood up for people, she stood up for God. And however, it wasn't just Rachel's story, journey that inspired me, but the words that she said before she was murdered. Because one of the shooters, because there was two of them and they were both from the same school as her, one of the shooters asked her a question before she died, and they asked her, "Do you still believe in God?" And with just 4 words, Rachel replied, "You know I do." and I don't want to get into too much detail about this because it's quite a delicate topic. So I would tell you that I found out about Rachel's story by watching a film called I'm Not Ashamed. And it's based on her life, and this shows how much of an inspiration that she has been, because there's been a film made about it, which I find that is amazing, because then that's a way of her story still living on and continuing to inspire other people. So throughout watching this whole film, I felt like I've got to know Rachel really well from some of the references of her writings in her journals within the film and how the film was set. Because even though I didn't know her personally, I still felt that connection with her somehow, but not as much of a big connection compared to people who actually knew her. But I guess I can relate to her in some areas. So yeah, I felt connected to the film and to Rachel, that when it came to the end of the film, I was flooded in tears. It's the kind of film that you'll feel emotionally connected to due to the fact that you know that it's a true story. Because I normally find when you know that it's something that really happened, you can then connect to it more, if you know what I mean. So from what I've told you about Rachel, I would like to encourage you to watch the film. Even though it's sad, it will give you more of a better understanding of Rachel's life and what she went through to become the person that God wanted her to be. A person changing people's lives even if she's not physically here. So I'll leave you with this movie quote, one of Rachel's quotes. And it says, "I have this theory that if one person can go out of their way to show compassion, it would start a chain reaction." There are many quotes that I could have mentioned within this video, but I thought that it would be good for you guys to have your own journey, for you guys to have that journey of realising how Rachel had inspired you just as she has inspired me. So I encourage you guys to look at her story, because although it was sad, it's very inspirational, as I keep saying, because it's one of the stories that as soon as I found out about it, I was very speechless, because I was just amazed at how, although her life wasn't always easy, she overcame it, and the amount of courage that she shows near the end of her life was literally just made me speechless, because literally I don't know what to say about it, because it's just made me speechless. So yeah, I'll leave you guys with that, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Okay, bye guys. Hey guys, just a quick notice that I forgot to mention in the video. Down in the description box below, I have attached some links of Macy McLean, who was the girl that played Rachel in the film I'm Not Ashamed, where she shares her point of view on what it was like playing Rachel as a character within the film and how Rachel's story has inspired her. So I advise you guys check that out, and also it'll be great to hear your comments down below as well, of how Rachel has inspired your life just as well as she's inspired mine. So I will see you guys there. Bye guys.